Once upon a time. In the colorful coastal city of Calabar, tucked between flowering roundabouts and whispering palm trees, there was a quiet estate called Heart Spring Estate, a gated compound filled with white bungalows, trimmed hedges, and families who greeted each other by name. It was the kind of place where children rode bicycles barefoot, where the scent of plantain chips and stew drifted from kitchen windows, and where neighbors shared pure water, secrets, and Saturday meat pie recipes. But one family had just arrived, and with them came light. Mirabelle had never lived in Calabar before. She stood quietly beside her father as the movers dropped boxes into their new home. House 7, the one with the red roof and the mango tree in front. Her dress was simple, pink with lace sleeves. Her hair was packed neatly with 2 white ribbons. Her eyes scanned everything carefully. Not curiously, spiritually. She was only 9 years old, but there was something deeply calm about her, a grace that made strangers lower their voices. Her mother always said, "Mirabelle, you are a carrier of peace. Wherever you go, darkness loses its balance." Her father worked in one of the top banks in Nigeria. Her mother, gentle and wise, was a full-time mother, protective, prayerful, and present. The type of woman whose eyes could stop foolishness mid-air. From birth, Mirabelle had been taught 3 golden rules. 1. Always say the truth. 2. Never leave home without prayer. 3. Never eat anything you're given outside, unless mommy or daddy sees it first. These were not just rules. They were boundaries drawn around her destiny. The sun was setting when a knock came on their compound gate. A girl, same age, brown-skinned and cheerful, leaned in and smiled. "Hi, I'm Emma. I live next door. House 8. Mirabelle nodded softly. "I'm Mirabelle. We just moved in. My mummy said to say welcome. She's cooking banga soup if you want a taste." Mirabelle smiled politely. "Thank you, but I already ate." Emma's eyes twinkled. "Which school are you going to?" "Not yet. My parents are still choosing." "You should come to Gloryfield School. It's the best in Calabar. That's where I go." Something about the name stuck in Mirabelle's chest, the way Emma said it. It sounded rehearsed. Gloryfield School was a beautiful place, bright walls, glossy tiles, neatly trimmed gardens, and teachers that spoke Queen's English. Located just 10 minutes from Heart Spring Estate, it looked like a school straight out of a magazine. But Gloryfield had a culture, a loud, cheerful culture that had lasted for years. Every birthday must be celebrated, not with a school-wide assembly, but right inside each classroom. It was tradition. The child celebrating their birthday would come with their parents, snacks, drinks, and birthday packs. Classmates would sing, clap, share food, and snap pictures. It was one of the ways students bonded. It was normal. It was expected, but not every birthday pack was the same. That Monday morning, Mirabelle was admitted into Basic 3. She stood at the front of the class in her fresh uniform as the class teacher introduced her. "This is Mirabelle. She just moved here. Please make her feel welcome." 30 children clapped. The classroom was bright and breezy, artworks on the wall, books neatly arranged. Nothing seemed wrong, until Mirabelle's eyes caught someone, a girl, sitting at the back, silent, hair packed in 2 buns, white socks spotless, face quiet. Her name was Debbie. She didn't clap, she didn't blink, she just stared at Mirabelle, and something in Mirabelle's spirit tightened. Emma ran to her side and said, Come, you'll sit next to me." It was barely Mirabelle's 3rd day at Gloryfield when she started to notice something odd. The class was normal, spelling bees, math drills, social studies. But whenever someone mentioned birthdays, the mood shifted. Her first birthday experience happened on Thursday. A boy named Raymond turned 10. His mother brought in cupcakes, drinks, and cartoon-themed party packs. The class sang, snapped pictures, and laughed. Mirabelle didn't eat hers. She took the party pack home, showed her mother, and only ate what was approved. Her mother nodded in approval. You see, not everything is evil, but wisdom must go first. But later that night, Mirabelle dreamt of Raymond. He was standing in the middle of their classroom, crying. His mouth was open, but no sound came out. Behind him stood Debbie, smiling. Days passed, and life at Gloryfield School continued with its usual cheer. Mirabelle slowly adjusted to the class schedule. She loved English composition and art. Her handwriting was neat, her answers accurate. The teachers already noticed her brilliance, not just in academics, but in how she carried herself. Calm, respectful, quietly strong. Emma, on the other hand, had started to change. Not on the outside. She was still bubbly, still the first to crack a joke, still always holding Mirabelle's hand between classes. But sometimes, Mirabelle would catch her staring too long, or saying things that felt off. One morning, as they walked to school, Emma handed her a small, round biscuit. "Try this," she said. "It's very sweet. I always eat it before class. It makes me remember things better." Mirabelle took it politely but didn't eat it. "Thank you," she said. "I'll show my mum first." Emma frowned. "Your mum again? It's just biscuit." "She says even the simplest things can carry secrets," Emma scoffed. "Secrets?" From biscuit. But when Mirabelle didn't eat it, Emma said no more. That night, Mirabelle placed the biscuit on the dining table. Her mother examined it, smelled it, then said nothing. She dropped it into the trash. "Was it from Emma?" she asked. "Yes. Be watchful, my dear." One sunny Saturday, Emma's family invited Mirabelle's parents over for a proper neighborly welcome. They all gathered in the compound, sitting under the mango tree with chilled drinks, puff-puffs, and lively music playing softly in the background. Emma's father, Mr. Anthony, was a jovial businessman who loved loud laughs and larger-than-life stories. Her mother, Mrs. Anthony, was warm and full of compliments. "We're so happy your family moved in," she said. "Emma talks about Mirabelle all the time." Mirabelle's parents smiled graciously. "We're grateful too," her mother replied. "It's always a blessing to have good neighbors." But as the conversation continued, Mirabelle's mother observed Emma. The girl would occasionally drift away, not physically but mentally. Her eyes would zone out for a moment, then snap back like nothing happened. Later that night, as she braided Mirabelle's hair on the veranda, she said, "Emma is a good child, but there's something behind her eyes. Like someone else is standing behind her." Mirabelle whispered, "She gave me a biscuit again today. I didn't eat it." Her mother nodded. "Stay close to the Lord. There's a reason we're here." One night, Emma woke up in her room sweating. She climbed out of bed and walked slowly to her mirror. Her eyes were glassy. She wasn't fully awake. Behind her reflection, a shadow moved. It didn't have a face, but it whispered. "She's stubborn." Emma nodded, still in a trance. "She didn't eat the biscuit. Try again." "I will. Soon, it will be time. The real one will share the pack." Emma blinked and woke up fully. She was standing in front of her mirror, but she couldn't remember walking there. The following week, during lunch break, Mirabelle opened her pink lunchbox and brought out her boiled yam and pepper sauce. Emma sat beside her with store-bought biscuits and juice. "Why do you always bring food from home?" Emma asked. "Because my mum says what comes from home carries home's blessing." Emma laughed. "You speak like an old woman." Mirabelle smiled. "That's what Mummy says too." One of their classmates, Ruth, overheard and said, "Mirabelle, your mummy must really love you." "She does," Mirabelle replied. Emma said nothing, but something inside her twitched. Love. She remembered when she used to feel it too. before the strange dreams started, before her fingers started writing strange words in the middle of the night, before she started obeying voices. The sky over Calabar was unusually dark that night. The breeze was still. Not a single leaf moved. It was as if nature itself was holding its breath. Inside Heartspring Estate, while streetlights blinked and generator hums filled the air, children were tucked into beds, curtains drawn, prayers whispered. But in Emma's room, the air was different. Her eyes were closed, her hands folded over her stomach, but her spirit stirred. At exactly 2:06 a.m., Emma sat up in bed, but her eyes didn't open. She stepped down, but her body didn't move. It was her spirit that rose. She walked to the window and faded through the glass like mist. She wasn't alone. From different houses across the estate, other children, all students of Gloryfield School, left their beds in the same strange way. Barefoot, silent, eyes closed, but glowing faintly. They gathered at the center of a vast, shadowy space that did not exist in the natural world, a clearing surrounded by trees that had no leaves, only branches like twisted fingers. A cold mist floated above the ground. They stood in a circle. Some wore their school uniforms, some held dolls, toys, or books, and at the center of them all, seated on a throne made of stone and thorns, was Debbie. Her eyes were sharper here, her voice deeper. She didn't speak often, but when she did, every other spirit hushed. "Is everyone here?" she asked. A small boy stepped forward. "Rita hasn't been coming." "Why?" "She started going to evening prayers. Her mom anoints her pillow now." Debbie's lips thinned. "That can be fixed." "Emma." Emma stepped forward, spirit pale, voice quiet. "I tried again. She won't eat. She keeps saying she must take it home." Debbie tilted her head. "Then give it to someone close to her. Let them share it." They murmured in agreement. Another girl stepped forward. "My sister is always disturbing my sleep. She sings gospel songs loudly." Debbie's eyes narrowed. "Deal with her voice, just the voice." The children nodded. Then they began to whisper names. "Mrs. Adet, the math teacher. She needs to lose her chalk. The pastor in my church, always praying too loud. That boy in Basic 2 who keeps calling Jesus in his dream." They spoke softly, but the plans were heavy. Emma looked around and whispered, "Sometimes I want to stop." Debbie's eyes snapped toward her. "What did you say?" Emma shook slightly. "Nothing." "You're losing your grip. Fix it, or next time you'll sit outside the circle." Emma nodded, head low. Then Debbie raised her hand, and all the spirits dissolved like fog in the wind. "Emma, get up! It's 6:45. Her mother's voice jolted her from bed. She sat up, disoriented. Sunlight poured into the room. She rubbed her eyes. I was dreaming." Her mother was already laying out her uniform. "Go and bathe. I packed lunch." Emma walked to the bathroom like a sleepwalker. She stared at her face in the mirror. There was nothing unusual, yet she felt empty. But when she opened her lunch bag, she saw something new, a pink bubble gum, wrapped, smiling. She didn't remember putting it there. She didn't remember where it came from. No one at Gloryfield School could explain it, but something had started shifting ever since Mirabelle arrived. First, it was the air, light, free, like morning dew. Then, it was the tension. Some of the children who used to sleep deeply and wake up energized were now waking up late, tired, confused, dizzy. They couldn't explain it, but at night, something was resisting them. Something was breaking the connection. Something was stopping them mid-air. And they didn't know it. But the something was a someone. A girl who had no clue what was happening. A girl whose mother only said, "Say your prayers no matter what." Mirabelle was just being Mirabelle, doing her assignments, praying before meals, reading psalms on the veranda, washing her socks without being told. But in the secret place where darkness gathered, her very presence was like smoke to the eyes. That night, the spirits gathered again. The crooked tree stood tall in their ghostly forest. Shadows flickered like fireflies, and at the center, Debbie sat, her feet not touching the ground, her eyes glowing pale green. The circle was quiet, until Emma broke it. "She's still not eating anything," she said. "Not even from me." Another child hissed, "We've tried snacks, gum, chocolate." A tall boy added, "She prays in school. Even her water bottle has her mom's name written in Bible verses." Debbie's voice dropped. "She doesn't even know what she's doing, but it's working." One of the youngest spirits shook. "She ruined the assignment we gave Ayo. He couldn't dream for 2 nights after she helped him with his classwork." Debbie stood. "Then we make it a mission. She enters before the full moon, or we silence her." The air turned black. Emma's father sat on the edge of his bed, massaging his chest again. The pain was back. His wife entered, holding a cup of hot ginger water. "You've spent over 200,000 naira this month. Let's go to a different hospital." "I've gone to 4, he said weakly. "I don't know what's wrong anymore." Emma stood in the hallway, watching. She felt strange, cold, like something was crawling inside her. She didn't know it, not fully, but the moment she licked that first marshmallow in Basic 1, she had opened a gate. And that gate allowed her spirit to drag pain into her father's chest every single week. She didn't even do it consciously. The power just took what it needed. Now her father's finances were draining. His blood pressure rose. His joy thinned. All so the gate could remain open. Teacher Nora was one of the most cheerful teachers in Gloryfield School. She wore glasses with blue frames and always sang while teaching. One afternoon, she scolded Chuka, a soft-faced boy who rarely spoke but had been part of the midnight meeting since Basic 2. She caught him tearing pages from another student's book. "Give me that," she snapped. "You'll kneel outside for 1 hour." Chuka didn't react. He just walked slowly outside, his eyes blinking slowly like he was counting seconds. That night, the spirits gathered again. "She embarrassed me," Chuka whispered to Debbie. Debbie smiled. "Then it is settled." The next morning, Teacher Nora arrived at school with her eyes swollen. Her husband had fallen and hit his head. Their generator caught fire. Their son had convulsed. By Friday, she was on leave. She never returned. "1 break period," Emma offered Mirabelle a wrapped chocolate bar. "It's my mom's favorite," she said. "She bought plenty. Try this one." Mirabelle smiled kindly. "Thank you. I'll take it home and show Mummy first." Emma's hand trembled slightly. "You always do that?" "Yes," Mirabelle replied. "Every time." She tucked the bar into her bag. Later that day, she forgot it on her bookshelf. The next morning, her mother saw it, unwrapped it, and found a black thread hidden inside. A single strand, but it wasn't cloth. It was moving. Her mother burned it instantly, saying nothing, just prayed aloud as she prepared breakfast. Meanwhile, in her spirit world, Debbie screamed, "Who touched it? It didn't land!" The children trembled. The offering had failed, again, because of that girl. Debbie sat silently in class, her hands folded neatly on the desk, eyes fixed on the blackboard. But her mind was elsewhere. It was only 3 weeks to her birthday. And in the spirit world, the throne was stirring. Each year, her birthday wasn't just a celebration, it was a ceremony. It was the day new souls were tagged, the day doors were opened, the day the spiritual initiation was complete. But this year felt different. She could feel it. Something was resisting them. Something, or someone, was weakening the pull. "Her name is Mirabelle," the spirit behind her had whispered 2 nights ago. "She carries a covering, It burns." Debbie clenched her jaw. "Not this year. That girl must eat." It began with Ruth's family. Ruth was one of the most active girls in class, bright, chatty, always among the top 5 in academics. She was one of the earliest to eat Debbie's birthday pack back in Basic 1. Since then, she'd never missed a year. But lately, Ruth's father had begun talking to himself at night. He would sit in the living room, staring at a wall, muttering numbers and names that made no sense. Her mother was fired from her job at a supermarket, not because of theft, but because the shop owner said she gave off a presence that made customers uneasy. Ruth herself began struggling in school. She would write well in exams and get back scripts with missing answers. It was as though something erased her work before the teacher saw it. She didn't understand it, but Debbie did. Because at every midnight meeting, Ruth sat closest to her throne. In the estate, one of the families had an elder sister named Sarah, Emma's older sibling. Sarah had always been spiritually alert. She led early morning devotion, played worship songs, and would anoint every doorframe weekly. She didn't know her little sister had long been initiated, but she had begun noticing something strange. Emma didn't like staying in the living room during prayers anymore. She flinched when certain songs played. She kept to herself more and slept like she was somewhere else entirely. One night, Sarah went to Emma's room at 2:20 a.m. and placed a hand on her forehead to pray. Suddenly, Emma's eyes popped open and locked with hers. But the voice that came out wasn't Emma's. It was deeper. It growled, "She is marked. You can't stop it." Sarah screamed. The entire house woke up. Emma blinked, confused. "Why are you all looking at me?" she asked. Her father stared. Her mother broke into tears. And that night, Sarah started praying differently. Another student, Tochi, came from a wealthy home. Her parents, the Chimes, ran 3 different businesses, employed drivers, cooks, and even donated to Gloryfield School once. But when Tochi attended Debbie's birthday the previous year and ate the special strawberry sweet, things began to crumble. First, their family driver lost control and crashed the company car. He swore someone had covered his eyes. Next, a government audit revealed that Tochi's father's documents were incomplete and his contracts were seized. Their accounts were frozen. Tochi's mother, once vibrant, now spoke very little and spent long hours staring into space, and still, none of them knew where the storm began. But the spirit world knew. Tochi had laughed the loudest during Debbie's party. She even had seconds. Teacher Funmi was known as the mother of twins. Everyone loved her for her gentle tone, patience, and the way she bought sweets for children who answered correctly in class. But she made one mistake. She scolded Debbie. It was a minor correction. "Debbie, you're late. Join the line next time, please." Debbie didn't react. She just nodded, silently. That night, during the spirit gathering, she whispered, "She embarrassed me." The following day, Teacher Funmi received a call that one of her twins was unconscious in school. At the hospital, the child screamed repeatedly, "Don't let her touch me. She has fire in her eyes." The doctor asked, "Who is she referring to?" The other twin pointed at his mother. Teacher Funmi collapsed. One night, Debbie stood before her throne and summoned the circle. "Bring out your names," she commanded. One by one, the children began to call out targets. "The man who always prays loudly next door. My sister who refuses to share her food. Our house help. She watches Christian movies too much. That man that asked Mummy to go for deliverance." Debbie's face remained unreadable. Emma, still silent in her corner, looked up. "Should I try again?" she asked. "Yes," Debbie said. "Before the birthday, she must eat." And just like that, the final countdown began. The date was circled in red ink on Debbie's wall calendar. Her room was quiet. Her body sat still on the bed, but in the spirit, thunder echoed. It was her day. the day the doors would open again. The daylight would be swallowed by the sweetness of deception. That morning, she came to school in a sparkling white uniform. Her hair was braided into two perfect buns. A pink ribbon was tied around her neck like a soft collar. Her shoes shone. Behind her, her mother carried 3 boxes, all filled with birthday packs. Cartoon printed, sealed, smiling. Inside each pack, a small strawberry-flavored stick sweet, a mini chocolate roll, a sachet of juice, 1 eraser, 1 sharpener, a miniature notebook, and a serpent spirit bound in sweet disguise. The class had been decorated, balloons in purple and pink, paper hats, a birthday song rehearsed. By break time, the party began. The teacher smiled, not knowing. Debbie stood in front of the class, her voice like syrup. "Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to celebrate with you again. I hope you enjoy your gifts." She moved between desks, personally handing each classmate a birthday pack. When she got to Emma, they exchanged a knowing look. Emma took hers and immediately opened the juice. Ruth tore her chocolate open. Tochi bit into the sweet first. Chuka licked his lips before unwrapping the stick sweet. One by one, they ate, and silently, they were claimed. In the realm of the unseen, shadows were dancing. Mirabelle sat quietly. Her pack sat untouched on her desk. Emma leaned close. "You can eat the chocolate at least. It's really good." Mirabelle smiled faintly. "I'll take it home." Debbie herself approached. Her voice was gentle, mature, magnetic. "You know, Mirabelle, not everything outside is evil. Sometimes joy is just joy. You don't want to hurt my feelings on my birthday, do you?" Mirabelle looked at her. She almost reached for the sweet. Her hand moved, slowly. Emma smiled, eyes wide. Debbie waited, but just before her fingers touched the wrapper, her mother's voice echoed in her heart. "No matter how sweet it looks, always bring it home first." Mirabelle pulled her hand back. "I'm sorry," she said, "but I promised my parents." Debbie's eyes narrowed, just briefly, but her voice remained calm. "Of course, no problem." She walked away, but in the spirit, something screamed. Mirabelle returned home that evening, tired. She ate dinner, did her homework, watched cartoons. She completely forgot the birthday pack. It remained in her backpack, zipped, waiting. That night, while she slept peacefully, her classmates, the ones who ate, gathered under the great spiritual tree. This time their number had doubled. They stood taller, their voices louder, their eyes empty. Debbie sat on her throne, pleased. "They are ours now." The next morning, as Mirabelle's mother packed her lunch, she reached into her daughter's school bag. She felt something cold. She pulled out the birthday pack. "Mirabelle?" she called. "Yes, Mummy?" "What's this?" "Oh, sorry. We had a birthday party yesterday. I forgot to show you." Her mother placed the pack on the table and unzipped it. She screamed. The stick sweet had transformed. It was now a fully formed, living, coiled little snake, its body curled around the juice and chocolate. She zipped the pack instantly. "Daniel!" she shouted. "Come here now!" Her husband rushed in. When he opened the pack and saw the snake for himself, his face paled. He zipped it again and grabbed the keys. "We're going to Emma's house, now!" Emma's parents were in shock. They called their daughter. "Where's your own birthday pack from yesterday?" Emma hesitated. "I already ate it, all of it." "Who shared it?" "Debbie." They rushed to her bag. Only the notebook, sharpener, and eraser were left. The edibles were gone. Emma's mother gasped. Her father sat down, trembling. Mirabelle's father said firmly, "We're going to the school." Now. At Gloryfield School, the principal welcomed them. "We need to speak," Mirabelle's mother said. "Now." She opened the zipped birthday pack on the principal's desk. The snake was still there, slithering slowly. The principal backed away. What? What is this? Who shared birthday packs in Basic 3B yesterday? Daniel asked. The principal turned to the intercom. Mrs. Benson, please come to my office with the Basic 3B register moments. Later, the teacher arrived. The principal asked, Who marked a birthday in your class yesterday? The teacher looked around. It was Debbie. Bring her here. The atmosphere in the principal's office was tense. The small snake slithering lazily inside the opened birthday pack had silenced every voice. Even the ticking of the wall clock now sounded like thunder. The principal stood with shaky hands and whispered to another teacher standing with them, Go and call Debbie now. The teachers returned minutes later, walking behind Debbie. Debbie entered the office slowly, calm, composed, her eyes low. She greeted softly, Good morning, sir. But when her gaze shifted to the opened birthday pack on the table, she froze. The snake hissed softly. Debbie, the principal said, do you recognize this? Debbie said nothing. Did you share this birthday pack yesterday? Mirabelle's father asked firmly. Yes, sir, she replied. It was my birthday. Then explain this, Emma's father said, pointing at the snake. Debbie opened her mouth, closed it again. Her eyes darted around the room like something inside her was deciding whether to run or attack. I don't know, she whispered. You don't know? Mirabelle's mother snapped. Children are falling sick, families are breaking down, teachers are leaving, and you're saying you don't know? Debbie blinked. Her lip trembled. It's not me. I just share. I don't make them. The principal leaned forward. Make what, Debbie? She froze again. The fear was visible now. Within minutes, the school secretary had called Debbie's parents. They arrived in confusion and panic, their daughter seated quietly between school authorities and two families with heavy eyes. What is going on? Debbie's mother asked. Please sit, the principal said. This may be hard to explain. He turned the birthday pack toward them. Debbie's father frowned. What is that? Mirabelle's mother unzipped the pack gently. The snake lifted its tiny head. Debbie's mother screamed. Her father leaped from his seat. What kind of joke is this? No joke, the principal said. That came from your daughter's party packs. Debbie's father stared at her. Is this true? Debbie? She stared at the floor. I didn't know it would change. Change from what, Debbie? Her mother asked. Talk to us. But Debbie remained silent. Mirabelle's mother reached for her phone. She stepped outside and dialed. Pastor Toby, please, we need you. Now it's urgent. At Gloryfield School. In less than 30 minutes, Pastor Toby arrived. Firm, calm, and dressed in his usual white shirt and oil-stained Bible. He entered the principal's office with quiet authority. Can someone please explain what this is? He asked. The story was repeated. He turned to Debbie. Do you want to be free? He asked. Debbie said nothing, so he opened his bottle of anointing oil. As he stepped closer, Debbie began to cry. No, don't come near me. It's not you I'm after, Pastor Toby said. It's what's sitting behind your eyes. He stepped forward and touched her forehead. Debbie screamed. Her voice changed. Her back arched. I didn't start it. I was only 6. They chose me. Who are they? Pastor Toby asked. The ones in the night. They said if I shared sweets, they would stop hurting my brother. Her mother broke into tears. You don't have a brother. I did, Debbie cried. Before I started school, they took him when I refused. Through tears, shaking hands, and spiritual release, Debbie began to speak. I started in Basic 1. They told me to share something sweet. I did. The next time they asked for a gift pack. Every child that ate it joined the circle. How many? The principal whispered. Too many, every year. I don't even know all their names. Did you know it was evil? Pastor Toby asked. She sobbed. At first, no. But when I started seeing them, floating, whispering, doing strange things at night. I knew, but I was already too deep. The principal announced a temporary halt to all classroom activities. Teachers were gathered. "Call every child who received the birthday pack and ate from it," the principal instructed. Slowly, the class teacher moved through Basic 3, asking quietly, "Did you eat anything from Debbie's pack?" Hands began to go up. Tochi, Ruth, Chuka, Emma, 18 children in total. Mirabel sat in the corner, hand lowered, eyes wide. They were moved to the school hall. Parents were called. Anointing oil was opened. Prayers began. Cries rose. Voices changed. Some screamed. Some shook. Some confessed. "I made my dad lose his money. I made my sister go mad. I made our house help run away. I locked my uncle's shop. I made the teacher fall on the stairs." Then Emma stood. "I gave my daddy sickness," she whispered. "I didn't know how. I just wanted to obey." Her father collapsed in a chair. "I didn't mean to," she sobbed. "They said I would be punished if I stopped." After 3 hours of intense prayer, declarations, and breaking of evil covenants, the children were free. Some vomited strange objects, some collapsed in exhaustion, some just cried. But the atmosphere changed. Debbie, now quiet and clean-eyed, sat beside her parents. "I'm sorry," she said. Her mother kissed her forehead. "We forgive you." And for the first time in years, Debbie felt light. By the next morning, word had spread. Teachers whispered in staff rooms. Parents called each other frantic. Some even came to the school uninvited, clutching rosaries, Bibles, and anointing oil, demanding to speak to the principal. The school board held an emergency meeting. The PTA chair was contacted. The authorities agreed on one thing. This must never happen again. And in the center of it all stood one child who never licked the sweet. Mirabel. The school bell rang differently that morning. Every student from Basic 1 to 6 was gathered in the compound. Some had no idea why. Others were silent, the ones who'd seen, felt, or survived the strange episodes. Mirabel stood with Emma beside her. Emma had changed, her eyes softer, her posture quieter. The laughter that once covered the shadows was now replaced with caution. The principal stepped forward. His voice echoed. "There are things that happened here that cannot be undone." He told them the truth, gently, carefully, powerfully. He spoke of spiritual discipline, of guarding what you eat, of not being deceived by ribbons and sugar. He didn't mention names, but everyone knew who had been at the center. Then he did something no one expected. He called Mirabel forward. She didn't fight. She didn't scream. She didn't expose anyone. She simply obeyed her parents. That saved this school. The entire assembly clapped. Some cried. Mirabel stood there unsure what to do. She wasn't a hero. She was just obedient. Later that week, as Emma walked home with Mirabel, she stopped under the mango tree and pulled her close. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" Mirabel asked. "For not giving up on me, for not judging me, for still being my friend." Mirabel smiled. "You were under something, but now you're free," Emma cried. "My dad is getting better. He even laughed this morning." They hugged. Gloryfield School changed. Birthday celebrations were no longer allowed without a full inspection. No child was allowed to bring in edible items unless approved by the school and seen by their parents. Teachers received training on spiritual signs, behavioral changes, and how to gently intervene. And once a week, the school prayed. Not just words, but sincere prayers. Because they had learned the hard way, some battles are not visible, but their wounds are deep. One evening, back in Heartspring Estate, Mirabel sat with her parents on the veranda. The breeze was calm. Her mother reached out and held her hand. "You don't know how proud we are of you." "I didn't do anything special," Mirabel said. Her father leaned forward. You did everything special. You listened. Her mother added, Obedience is not weakness, Mirabelle. It's wisdom. And because you obeyed, many were saved. That night, as she prayed before bed, she whispered, Thank you, God, for helping me say no, even when I wanted to say yes. And somewhere in the spirit, another throne cracked, light poured through, and the circle was broken. The moral lessons in this story: not all evil looks ugly. Sometimes it's wrapped in ribbons, sweets, and smiling faces. Parents must teach their children discernment, not just obedience. Not every gift is meant to be received. Some gifts come with covenants. Never ignore small instructions. They may be the difference between safety and destruction. A child who listens is a light to their family. And sometimes, the smallest no can stop the biggest evil. Let this story be a reminder. What enters through the mouth can affect what sleeps in the spirit. Be vigilant. Be prayerful. Be wise. Dear parents, guardians, and viewers around the world, what you just watched is more than a story. It's a warning, a mirror, a lesson wrapped in fiction but soaked in real-life truth. How many times have we overlooked the smallest decisions that hold the greatest consequences? How many times have we told our children, it's just sweet, take it, without asking where it came from? Let this story remind us, not every gift is harmless, not every celebration is innocent, not every friend means well, but every child deserves protection. If this story touched you deeply, comment below. From today, I will teach my children to bring it home. And if you've ever experienced anything like this, or know someone who has, share your story in the comments. Let someone else learn. Let someone else be saved. We're building a community of caution, wisdom, and healing. And it starts with you. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Because here, every tale is a truth waiting to open your eyes.